I would say that in comparing my high school experiences to my college experiences, college has been a world of a difference for me. I was diagnosed with ADHD as a sophomore in high school. And I would say that because of the structure of high school and the fact that it's very rigid, it was really challenging for me to be able to find a structure and a schedule that worked well to allow me to succeed. Whereas coming to OU, knowing that I have a lot more time on my hands and a lot more flexibility with what my schedule looks like, it's made time management a lot easier. And I would just say that overall that flexibility has helped me a lot in being able to focus on my classes and my assignments and what's really important. In terms of challenges I face in the classroom, a lot of it has been time management, especially because of that flexibility within my schedule. So figuring out how to appropriately break up assignments over a period of time so that it doesn't end up where I'm completing something the night before it's due and rushing it. That's definitely been one of my biggest challenges. I would say that one thing that helped me a lot through that is I'm an honors college student, and they have an advisor in the honors college specifically for time management advising. So my freshman year, I reached out to that advisor, and she kind of helped me set up a structure of making sure that things get done in a timely fashion rather than just all at once, which I found super helpful. I just gonna take a glance at my notes. Another challenge that I faced was also keeping track of all of the important dates that I have. So, making sure that not only am I staying on top of class times, but also, staying on top of any meetings or extracurriculars, and just kind of keeping track of when those dates come up. So I have gotten extremely into a variety of different planners and calendars that I utilize to help me organize all of that. So for example, I have a physical planner that I utilize to lay out the entire semester of dates. And then I kind of transform that whole planner into a Google Doc where I type out like the next month, and then I can kind of see the month's glance from there. And then as soon as a week ends, I go back to that planner, I insert another week at the end and kind of add in all of those important dates that I've documented there. And then kind of to mix in all of the outside of school meetings and stuff that I have going on, I also have the next 6 months printed out on big calendars that I stick to my wall in my room so that they're really visibly, there. I can't miss it. And using all three of those kind of helps me to manage the various different realms of my life and all of the dates and things that I shouldn't forget. Yeah, I would say also too, depending on the class, I've had some classes where the structure of it makes it more difficult for me to stay engaged within lectures when we're going through content. I find that in classrooms where I'm working on stuff that's interactive, rather than just, a lecture where I'm listening for an hour and a half straight, anything that kind of incentivizes me to either speak up or engage in a discussion or even, interact with my peers within the classroom, I feel helps me to make the content stick better in my brain. And I just find that classrooms that take a variety approach in terms of the type of learning techniques that are used help me to be a lot more successful, because I feel like all of the different types of learning skills that work best for me are kind of encapsulated in different places throughout the course.
Okay.
I find that highly discussion-based classes are really, really helpful. I just feel like, me personally, whenever I get the opportunity to try and explain or not regurgitate necessarily, but reinforce what I think the professor may be teaching or the content that we're going over, it helps to make it more concrete within my mind, especially when I go back to reference it. I would also say that group work I find really helpful, especially because I also have a tougher time socializing within my classes. I'm typically the kid that will go to class. If I talk to anybody, it's because of group discussion or group projects and stuff like that. And kind of building that social element also makes me feel a lot more comfortable within the classroom, knowing that I'm comfortable with my peers, knowing that I can openly talk to my professor as well. I would say that there really is no one-size-fits-all of an approach that can best support neurodivergent students. I think that the number one thing that has been most impactful to make me successful is having professors that are, very welcoming and willing to talk with me about my specific challenges or what we can do collaboratively to help me succeed within the class. I find that like a very individualized approach helps me to feel more comfortable talking about the things that I struggle with, especially in terms of my ADHD. Yeah, let me just take a quick glance.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I would definitely say that like number one is do whatever you can to help your students feel comfortable coming to you. Because I know that there have definitely been times where I may be struggling here or there, but because I don't feel super comfortable talking to the professor in such a context, I normally will just try and figure it out on my own or reach out to classmates for assistance rather than going straight to my professor. So I would just say being as receptive as possible. As a student who struggled a lot in high school, I can say that for me at least, coming into college, I was really optimistic about the fact that it would be an opportunity for me to grow and do better. But I will also say that in terms of some friends that I have or other neurodivergent students, I feel like a common denominator for some people is that, they come out of high school maybe struggling or not necessarily thinking that they're the brightest in the room, and they come to college and they automatically assume that because I struggled here, I'm also going to struggle here. And I think that providing that positive reinforcement and seeing how specifically you can help students to grow from their past experiences would be super important. And especially just giving them that, extra motivation to build the ambition to try really hard to succeed within coming to a new environment is super important.